The day she regretted it was the day everything changed. Standing in the doorway of her mansion, Olivia Blackwood watched as 7-year-old Lily skipped up the marble staircase, pigtails bouncing with each step. The little girl turned, her innocent eyes meeting Olivia's, and said the words that would shatter the carefully constructed walls around her heart, "Good night, Mom." 3 simple syllables that made Olivia's blood run cold. This wasn't supposed to happen. None of this was real. It was all just a game, a cruel joke that had spiraled far beyond her control. And now, as Lily disappeared down the hallway, Olivia felt the weight of her actions crushing down on her. How could she have been so heartless? If you're enjoying this story, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more emotional journeys that will touch your heart. Your support means everything to us, and we promise to keep bringing you content that moves you. Olivia Blackwood had everything money could buy. At 32, she was the CEO of Blackwood Industries, a tech empire she'd built from the ground up after inheriting her father's failing company at 25. Forbes had featured her 3 years running as one of the most powerful women in business. Her penthouse overlooked Central Park, her garage housed cars worth more than most people's homes, and her closet was filled with designer clothes still bearing tags. But despite her wealth, Olivia was empty inside. Her friends, if you could call them that, were fellow socialites and business elites who measured worth by bank accounts and social connections. Their gatherings were less about enjoyment and more about displaying wealth and power. It was at one such party, hosted at her Manhattan penthouse, that the idea was born, a sick, twisted game that would change lives forever. "I'm bored," announced Veronica, swirling champagne in a crystal flute. "We need something exciting. A challenge." "Like what?" asked Marcus, a hedge fund manager with a reputation for ruthlessness in both business and relationships. "A bet," Veronica's eyes gleamed with mischief. "Something outrageous." The conversation evolved as it always did with this crowd, pushing boundaries, testing limits, with no regard for consequences or the people who might get hurt in their games. And then someone, Olivia couldn't even remember who, suggested the ultimate challenge. "I've got it," said Veronica, her lips curling into a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Olivia should marry someone completely inappropriate. Someone so beneath her social standing that everyone will be shocked. The group laughed, the alcohol fueling their cruelty. Suggestions flew around the room, a waiter, a taxi driver, a janitor. And then Marcus pulled out his phone. "I've got the perfect candidate," he announced, showing a dating profile to the group. "My company just acquired this small construction firm. The owner is this single dad, totally ordinary, struggling to make ends meet. Raising a kid on his own. Imagine Olivia Blackwood, playing stepmom to some brat." The room erupted in laughter, and Olivia, never one to back down from a challenge, felt herself nodding. "How long would I have to keep up the charade?" 6 months, Veronica declared. "Marry him, live the simple life, then divorce him and leave him with enough money to never speak of it again." "And if I succeed?" Olivia asked, already calculating how to approach this game. "Each of us contributes to a pot. 5 million. Tax-free." Marcus grinned. "Plus, bragging rights for life." Olivia didn't need the money. What she craved was the distraction, the challenge, the opportunity to prove once again that she could accomplish anything she set her mind to. Even if that meant manipulating an innocent man and his child. "Deal," she said, raising her glass. "To my upcoming nuptials." The next morning, nursing a hangover and reviewing the terms of the bet that had been formalized in a text chain, Olivia wondered if she'd gone too far. But backing out wasn't an option. In her world, your word was your bond, and weakness was never tolerated. So she instructed her assistant to gather information on one Jack Reynolds, single father and owner of Reynolds Construction. Jack Reynolds had no idea his life was about to change when he received a call about a major renovation project for one of the city's most prestigious companies. At 34, he'd spent the last 7 years building his small construction business while raising his daughter Lily after his wife's death from cancer. Every day was a balancing act: school drop-offs, client meetings, homework help, payroll, bedtime stories. He was exhausted but determined to give Lily the life she deserved. The meeting was set at a coffee shop near his current job site. Jack arrived early, reviewing his portfolio one last time, hoping this contract could be the breakthrough his company needed. When Olivia walked in, every head turned. She was striking in a tailored suit that probably cost more than his monthly mortgage, her dark hair pulled back in a sleek ponytail, her makeup flawless. "Mr. Reynolds," she extended her hand. "Olivia Blackwood." Jack stood, suddenly aware of his worn jeans and the construction dust that never quite seemed to wash out of his clothes. "Ms. Blackwood. Thank you for considering my company. Please, call me Olivia." Her smile was practiced, perfect. "Shall we discuss the project?" For 2 hours, they talked about the renovation plans for one of her company's satellite offices. Jack was surprised by her knowledge of construction and her thoughtful questions. He'd expected to meet with some junior assistant, not the CEO herself. What he didn't know was that Olivia had spent the previous night studying construction terminology and techniques, preparing to appear knowledgeable and interested. As they wrapped up, Olivia made her first move. "I'm impressed with your proposal, Jack. But I'd like to continue this discussion over dinner. Are you available tomorrow night?" Jack hesitated. "I'd need to find a sitter for my daughter." "Bring her along," Olivia suggested, the words feeling foreign on her tongue. "I'd love to meet her." And so began the elaborate deception. Dinner led to more dinners. Professional meetings evolved into personal outings. Olivia crafted a persona, still successful but more down-to-earth, interested in Jack's work and his daughter. She laughed at his jokes, asked about his day, and slowly, deliberately, made herself indispensable to both Jack and Lily. For Lily, Olivia became the female presence she'd been missing since her mother died. Olivia helped with homework, attended school functions, and even learned to braid hair by watching YouTube tutorials late at night. For Jack, she was a partner who seemed to understand both his professional ambitions and his devotion to his daughter. 3 months into the charade, Jack proposed. It wasn't grand or elaborate, just a simple question asked on the balcony of his modest home after Lily had gone to bed. Olivia accepted, the words tasting like ash in her mouth as she thought about the text she would send to her friends later. Phase 1 complete. The wedding was small, nothing like the society event Olivia's friends had expected. They attended, of course, watching with barely concealed amusement as Olivia exchanged vows with a man they considered beneath her. Jack's construction crew and a few neighbors made up his side of the aisle. Lily served as flower girl, beaming with pride and joy. "You look like a princess," Lily had whispered to Olivia before the ceremony, her small hands smoothing the simple white dress Olivia had chosen, deliberately understated to maintain her character. "Thank you, sweetheart," Olivia had replied, feeling the first twinge of what might have been guilt. After the wedding, Olivia suggested they all move into her penthouse. "It makes more sense," she explained to Jack. "It's closer to Lily's school and your main work sites." What she didn't say was that her friends wanted proof she was fully committing to the charade. Photos of Jack's tools in her pristine home and Lily's toys scattered across imported rugs would provide the evidence they demanded. Jack was hesitant at first. "It's a big change for Lily. And honestly, Liv, your place doesn't feel like a home for a kid." "We'll make it work," Olivia insisted, already planning the renovations to create a child's bedroom that would photograph well for her updates to the Bet group. The transition wasn't smooth. Lily was overwhelmed by the massive apartment and intimidated by the doorman and the elevator operator who knew Olivia by name. Jack felt out of place among the expensive furniture and art pieces that cost more than he earned in a year. But gradually, they settled into a routine. Olivia found herself adapting too. She started coming home earlier from work, something she'd never done before. She learned Lily's favorite foods and the names of her stuffed animals. She discovered that Jack hummed when he concentrated and that he was an excellent cook. These details weren't necessary for the bet, but somehow, they filled the spaces in her mind previously occupied by acquisition strategies and profit margins. 4 months into the marriage, halfway to winning the bet, Olivia hosted a dinner party for her friends. Jack was working late on a project, so it was just Olivia, her social circle, and Lily, who had been allowed to stay up past her bedtime as a special treat. "How's domestic bliss?" Marcus asked, his tone making it clear he found the whole situation amusing. "Enlightening," Olivia replied carefully, aware of Lily coloring quietly in the corner. 2 more months, Veronica reminded her. "Then you can drop the act and come back to reality." Olivia nodded, but something felt off. The conversation that once would have energized her now seemed shallow. These people, her supposed friends, were discussing her marriage, fake as it was, as if it were nothing more than an amusing diversion. Later that night, after her friends had left and she was tucking Lily into bed in her newly decorated room, the little girl looked up with serious eyes. "Those people don't like Daddy, do they?" she asked. Olivia froze. "Why do you say that?" "They talked about him like he's not important." "But he is important. He's the most important person in the world." Shame washed over Olivia. "You're right, Lily. He is important. And you're important too," Lily continued, her innocent logic cutting straight to Olivia's heart. "You're our family now." Family. The word echoed in Olivia's mind long after Lily had fallen asleep. She'd never had a real family, not since her parents died. Her father had been distant, focused on business, and her mother had been more concerned with social standing than maternal affection. When they passed away within a year of each other, Olivia had inherited wealth and responsibility, but no understanding of what it meant to be loved unconditionally. The next morning, Olivia woke early and made breakfast, something she'd learned to do since Jack and Lily moved in. As they ate together, she found herself studying them. Jack with his patient smile as he helped Lily cut her pancakes. Lily with her serious concentration as she poured syrup in a careful spiral. They were real in a way her previous life had never been. "What?" Jack asked, catching her stare. "Nothing," Olivia said quickly. "Just thinking about some meetings today." But she wasn't thinking about meetings. She was thinking about how, in less than 2 months, she was supposed to end this charade. File for divorce. Explain to Lily that she was leaving. Return to her empty life of acquisitions and social climbing. The thought made her physically ill. That day at work, Olivia was distracted. Her assistant had to repeat questions multiple times, and she found herself staring out the window instead of reviewing contracts. During a board meeting, someone asked about projections for the next quarter, and Olivia realized she was thinking about Lily's upcoming school play instead. What was happening to her? That evening, she came home to find Jack and Lily dancing in the kitchen, music blaring from a small speaker, flour covering the countertops as they attempted to make cookies. In her old life, Olivia would have been horrified by the mess. Now, she dropped her briefcase and joined them, laughing as Jack twirled her around the kitchen island. Later, after Lily was asleep and they were cleaning up, Jack pulled Olivia close. "I never thought I could be this happy again," he said quietly. "After Sarah died, I thought that part of my life was over. But you've given us both so much joy." Olivia felt sick with guilt. This man, this kind, hard-working, loving man, had opened his heart to her, and she had entered his life on a bet. A cruel, thoughtless wager made by people who saw others as entertainment. "Jack," she began, not sure what she was going to say. Confess? Apologize? Beg forgiveness? But he kissed her before she could continue, and Olivia realized with startling clarity that somewhere along the way, the act had become real for her. She cared for this man. She loved his daughter. The life she had intended to discard in 2 months had become the only one she wanted. The next day, Olivia met with her lawyer. "I want to transfer some assets," she explained. "Set up trusts. Make some changes to my will." The lawyer, who had represented the Blackwood family for decades, raised an eyebrow. "May I ask why the sudden interest in estate planning?" "I'm married now," Olivia said simply. "I have a family to think about." That evening, she cancelled plans with Veronica and instead attended Lily's school science fair. She watched as Jack helped Lily explain her project to the judges, his pride evident in every gesture. This was real life, messy, unpredictable, and infinitely more valuable than anything she'd known before. As the 6-month mark approached, Olivia's friends began texting more frequently, asking about her exit strategy, and reminding her of the payout waiting when she completed the bet. She ignored them all. Then came the day that changed everything. Olivia had taken Lily shopping for new school clothes, something she'd never imagined herself doing but now found surprisingly enjoyable. They were laughing about a particularly sparkly shirt Lily had tried on when they ran into Marcus and his new girlfriend. "Olivia." Marcus called, his smile not reaching his eyes. "Playing mommy today?" Before Olivia could respond, he turned to his girlfriend. "This is the project I told you about." Olivia married some construction worker on a bet. $5 million says she can't last 6 months playing house. Lily's small hand went slack in Olivia's. Her little face, moments ago alight with laughter, crumpled in confusion and then understanding. "Lily," Olivia began, but the child pulled away. "You don't really love us?" Lily's voice was small, broken. "It's all pretend?" "No, Lily, that's not." But Lily had already turned and run toward the store exit. Olivia caught her in the mall corridor, kneeling down to look into her tear-streaked face. "Lily, please listen to me. You're going to leave us. Like mommy did." The words were a knife to Olivia's heart. "No, sweetheart. I'm not going anywhere." "But that man said." "What that man said was about something that happened a long time ago, before I knew you and your dad. Before I understood what was really important." Lily's lower lip trembled. "Do you promise?" "I promise," Olivia said, and she had never meant anything more in her life. That night, after Lily was asleep, Olivia told Jack everything. The bet, the initial deception, the plan to divorce him after 6 months. She watched as confusion gave way to hurt and then anger in his eyes. "So none of it was real?" he asked, his voice hollow. "Everything between us was just part of your game?" "It started that way," Olivia admitted, tears streaming down her face. "But Jack, somewhere along the way, it became real. You and Lily became my world. The life I had before feels empty now. Meaningless. How can I believe you?" Jack stood up, pacing the living room. "How do I know this isn't just another part of the act? Because I'm walking away from the bet. I've already told them I'm out." Jack stopped pacing. "What?" Olivia pulled out her phone and showed him the text she'd sent to the group earlier that day. "The bet is off. I'm keeping my husband and daughter. Keep your money, I've found something worth more." The responses had been predictably cruel. Accusations of weakness. Jokes about her going native. Threats to expose her to Jack. But she'd beaten them to it. "I don't expect you to forgive me," Olivia said quietly. "What I did was unforgivable. But I need you to know that my love for you and Lily is the most real thing I've ever felt." Jack was silent for a long time. Then he asked, "What about your friends? Your social standing? All the things that were so important to you before? None of that matters anymore. You and Lily are what matter."